Hi guys, this is Anarchist coming to you from the dark side of the moon, and this is Wham Radio. We have a mutiny radio. And today, Marble Man, he will be out in the field, so I will be doing a solo show today. So hopefully I can give you some information and entertain you long enough without my partner being here. Without further ado, I would like to bring you into the show. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the Cerveza bug and things that go along with it. And what really has made me aware of some of the stuff that's going on, and I want to present this information to you guys because I think this is very important. I think it's very important to see the loss of liberty, the loss of individual freedom, and the loss of personal choices. So today I'm actually recording from my day job, and my manager had came in and given me some paperwork. And I'm looking at it, and I'm reading through it, and I see a couple of things in there I really don't like. First off, he said, well, what he had really told me was this information was given to him by the health inspectors for the state of Illinois. So the state is threatening my manager and my bosses and the owners of this company with, I don't know, some type of fine or, license, losing their license or something if we don't follow these new rules. So these are health monitoring minimum guidelines that the health inspectors for the state of Illinois, what they gave my manager. So let's read into some of the stuff that they want us to comply with. Number 1. Employers should make temperature checks available for employees and encourage their use. Employers should post information about the symptoms of COVID-19 in order to allow employees to self-assess whether they have any symptoms and should consider going home. So let's put signs all over the store about possible symptoms or, those symptoms that you might be experiencing. And you get to read them 50 times a billion day because in my job here, we really don't do diddly squat but read all the signs in the store because there's really nothing to do here. And let's just turn ourselves into hypochondriacs. Let's self-assess ourselves and turn ourselves into hypochondriacs. Let's believe that we're all sick and let's keep putting into our minds that the symptoms that we're experiencing is, Cerveza bug. In order to self-assess, they want us to use a thermometer. So they have, thermometer here now in my store. So let's go to number 2. All employers should have the wellness screening program. Resources outlining the screening program is posted on the DCEO Restore Illinois Guideline website. It says employers should conduct in-person screening of employees upon entry into workplace to verify no presence of symptoms. If employee shift is greater than 5 hours, employers should also conduct mid-shift screenings to verify no presence of symptoms. So they want them to scan my head as I walk in through the door, basically. But we all work in solo shifts here, so they expect me to just, measure myself, I guess. But let's say what this really is here, guys. This is data mining. This is social engineering. They are data mining our information through our employers. For example, the sheet that we're supposed to record our information on that the health inspectors of Illinois want, it says time, date, name of employee, temperature. Okay. Where is this information going? Who does my manager give this information to? And I did not consent to even giving this information away. There was no consent at all. I didn't sign a release of information form to the health department of my town. I didn't sign any piece of paper that says that I am signing away or giving a right to my medical information. Because the temperature, I'm sorry, is personal private information. And I don't know, nobody really has to know that except you and your doctor, really. But this is social engineering on the grandest level of schemes. It is in our faces, guys. But I digress. Let's move on to number 3. If an employee reports any Cerveza bug related symptoms, they should remain isolated at home for a minimum of 10 days until the symptoms are offset or feverless or feeling well. Without fever, it's 72 hours, or confirmed to not have Cerveza bug via 2 negative Cerveza bug tests in a row. So I have to go to the testing site not once, but twice, risking, I guess, more exposure, to test negative 2 times so I can come back to work if quote unquote I might have expressed symptoms of Cerveza bug. Okay? So now we're going to get into some crazy communist, I don't know, clown world looking mandates down here now, because these next 1, 2, 3, 4, these next 4 topics are the guidelines, freaking communist. Let's see. If employee reports having any Cerveza bug related symptoms, employers should encourage employee to contact their healthcare provider. If multiple employees report having any Cerveza bug related symptoms, employers should notify their local health department within 3 days of being informed. To the prevalence of Cerveza bug, they don't even know for sure if it is. It's just prevalence now. Okay, if multiple employees test positive for Cerveza bug, employers should notify their local health department within 1 day of positive test results. So let's force the employer to snitch on themselves. Okay. Number 5. If an employee is identified as being Cerveza bug positive by testing, CDC cleaning and disinfecting should be performed according to CDC guidelines. So, if number 4 happens, then number 5 happens. And number 5 says that my store would have to close down to do this CDC cleansing or cleaning and disinfecting. Meaning people who work here lose a couple of days of work because somebody tested positive or may have tested positive. We don't even know. They can go back and forth. They could probably do it without a test and still close the store. Number 6, where appropriate, notify employees who have been exposed. Employers should not identify an employee who has tested positive by name. Remember in school when we were little kids and kids started catching lice, and the office would call people down, and they would do their hair and stuff like that, and then they would sit there and say, like, tell the teachers, if one of your students have lice, you can't tell the other students who was it, but we all knew who it was. And that's what's going to happen. Either we all knew who it was, or it's just going to be a witch hunt. Really. Oh, it was you. You had the Cerveza bug, and now you gave it to me. Which leads into number 7. Any employee who has close contact with coworker or any other person who is diagnosed with Cerveza bug should quarantine for 14 days. They should also seek a Cerveza bug test at a state or local government testing center, healthcare center, or other testing location. All other employees should be on alert for symptoms of fever, cough, or shortness of breath, taking temperatures if symptoms develop. And it says there's some type of a hyphenated thing down here. Encourage best practices. 1. If practical, a one-time nasal swab for RT-PCR testing of all live performers should be obtained within 48 to 72 hours prior to the start of work on set or location. So I'm assuming that's for like movie studios or large venues, if you're going to have like a band or something. But I'm going to stick to these first 7 up here, and we'll just disregard this one on the bottom and not deal with it right away. So let me reiterate back. So number 4 says that if a person tests positive for Cerveza bug, that the employer has to report it to the health department. So they have to like report themselves basically, which is never a good thing. I mean, come on guys, think about it. Who wants to sit there and say, okay, I guess it was me, and it wasn't even really them. You know what I mean? Like, you can't sit there and be upset at somebody who got sick. You have no control over your immune system, and you have no control over how a virus acts within a system, like within an enclosed system like our planet. So let me move on to how these health monitoring guidelines uh, are actually considered an infringement against our Fourth Amendment rights, and is also considered medical discrimination. All right. So very quickly here, I'm going to try to get over to the right page and just reiterate what the Fourth Amendment is. To maybe some people don't understand it, or maybe they do. In this case, the Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by an oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So let me just back up a little. The Fourth Amendment says that you are to be secure in your persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizure. This is a direct violation of the Fourth Amendment because this is an unreasonable search and seizure of information, my papers, and effects of my personhood. Okay? Temperature is a private matter. Okay? That is medical information that does not need to be disclosed to anybody without your consent. We sign consent forms with all our medical paperwork. Why is this any different with a temperature? You're probably sitting there thinking, oh, well, it's just a temperature. It's not a big deal. I don't mind. I have nothing to hide and this and that. But it doesn't matter whether you have something to hide or not. You have a right to keep that information private and not suffer direct consequences. So if I choose not to record my temperature at work, I should not be afraid to lose my job. But people are going to argue and say, well, it's the company's policy. No, this is not the company's policy. My boss did not wake up this morning and say, everybody at the work has to take their temperatures. No, the government shoved itself in my boss's face and said, you have to take the temperature of your workers, and forced it. And now we're complying, which, just to let you guys know, I do plan on falsifying all my information on that sheet for as long as I can. Now, let me move on to what is medical discrimination, and how is this a tool that they're going to use in the future to make sure that everybody stays in line. Medical discrimination is when they use medical information about you as to why you cannot have XYZ benefits, XYZ job, XYZ living situation. They will be able to come in and say, well, you can't work anymore because you have diabetes now. Like, they're going to come up with all sorts of ways to limit how people can make their livelihoods together, like how they're going to live their lives. They're going to use medical information as a way to control us, basically. So, and it's very important that you understand that your medical information is private information, that you are to be secure in your persons. You're supposed to be secure, guys. You shouldn't be giving your information out willy-nilly. Who cares if it's just a temperature check? Who cares? Well, they're going to say, that's just one little step that they need for us to comply with, so that they could take the next giant leap in restricting our individual liberties. A number is a number, yes, I get it. It doesn't seem very significant to you guys. You guys are probably just about You're no different than saying, put the mask on. You know? It's no different than saying that. All of this should be personal choice. I should make and come to my own personal conclusion and decision of whether or not this is something that I want to do. And I think that everybody else should have that freedom to make that choice. Now we're moving on to silent consent and how silent consent contributes to a lot of the mandates that we have here. Okay? People are so easy to conform and to comply with everything, and not knowing that they're very easily giving away liberties and freedoms that they don't even have a right to give away. Because I'm going to tell you something here right now. Rights cannot be given or taken away. If you do not have a right to something, then you cannot give it away. And even if you do have a right to something, like your own body, you don't have a right to give it away to somebody else. Like your body, for example. It really is a great example. You have control and autonomy over your own bodies, of what goes in it, what comes out of it. But it's okay for the government to tell you what you can and cannot put in your body. But it's your body. You know what you can and cannot put in your body. And you have every say-so over what you can and cannot put in your body. But when they mandate vaccines, okay, and I know I'm going to hear from all the pro-vaccine people, which you guys can be pro-vaccine. That's great. Go ahead and be pro-vaccine. But as long as it's for your own interest, not where you want other people to do it because you're doing it, okay? All of this still falls down to personal choices. Everybody has to make a choice and be given the opportunity to make a decision. They can't just be forced and mandated into it. You can't just keep making people comply into some mindless existence of, okay, this is who we're going to follow, this is what we're going to do, and if you think of anything outside of this, you're the bad guy. America is literally the only country on the planet, where you can go to sleep and wake up a criminal the very next day and not even know it. So when I mean by silent consent, I mean people who don't speak up. People who just comply, and they're complying because even though they don't want to do it, they're complying because they need to get by. Now these people, I'm sorry, let me talk to you guys really quick about this. And I'm going to talk to you people, the silent consent people, who are okay with this because you're afraid of losing everything you care about. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Don't be afraid to lose everything you care about, because you're bigger than that. You are worth more than what they're telling you. And I'm going to leave it at that for those people. But mandates are never good. Government mandated anything is never good, because the minute you have a mandate is when the barrel of a government gun will show up to your house because somebody snitches on you or somebody doesn't like you and they call the cops. That's what happens. That's how you initiate violence on your neighbors, when you ask for mandates. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on and pay some bills here. We have a few good sponsors here on the show, guys, and I just want to give a shout out to them. We have Berwin Tobacco and Vapes. They're a great tobacco shop here in Berwin, local family-owned business. Mo is the owner. They're located at 2825 South Harlem Avenue in Berwin, Illinois, of course. And their phone number is 708-637-4245. They have all your smoking and vaping needs. Give Mo a call. If not, stop by the store. Mask on, mask off, don't worry about it. We also have Sullivan's Plumbing and Heating Incorporated. Another family-owned local business. They do a great job with plumbing, especially. I've used their services many times. They are located at 18 16th Street in Berwin. Give them a call at 708-795-0700 and just set up an appointment and get a quote if you can. Last but not least, our final sponsor of the evening, we have JC's Resale Shop in Berwin, Illinois. She's located at 6615 Cermak Road in Berwin. JC's such a great woman. She's got so many things in her store. I'm telling you right now, if you can't find it anywhere, you can always find it at JC's. She's got everything from furniture, electronics, to clothes, to shoes. You name it, she's got it. Give her a shout over at on her Facebook page and go stop on by her shop. And that's 6615 Cermak Road, phone number 708-317-4539. Okay, guys, we're back. Now we're going to talk about how the common good is used to create and promote tyranny. Okay? So we got this okay for some, not for all mentality that's going on right now. A good example would be, again, with this temperature thing. It's okay for me to go back to work because I have a temperature, or I don't have a temperature. Let me correct myself. I don't have a temperature. But it's not okay for you to go back to work because you do have a slight temperature. You know, these are all fear-mongering and divide and conquer tactics that the mainstream media uses against us, the people. They do this all the time. They scare you. They tell you it's okay for some people to do certain things rather than others to do things. Like, it's okay for me to make a personal decision because I have money and power and influence and stuff like that. But it's not okay for you to make this personal choice because you don't know what you're doing and you require some authority figure to tell you what to do. They really don't, our owners, they are very smart people. I will give them that, okay? Our owners are intelligent. They know more than what we understand and what we think we understand. They put out there what they want us to understand rather than what we should be understanding. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but that's literally what it is. They're very smart. They understand what's going on. They know how the human mind works. They know how to manipulate us emotionally, physically, mentally. They do this stuff all the time. So don't tell me that they don't use fear-mongering as a form of social control. Like what's going to happen right now. We had those, like the political climate that we have going on right now is literally leading to why we're going to probably be seeing another shutdown soon. So let me go pull up some data right now because I actually wanted to take a look at some of this data, and I'll leave the links in the comments section, and and you can always look it over. So I'm going to worldometersinfo.com for the for the Cerveza bug. Okay, so Cerveza bug cases. It says 14,175,516. So we'll just say 14 million cases worldwide. That's just cases. Now let's look at deaths. 598,431. Okay, so let's just reiterate. We'll make it a solid number. We'll say 600,000 people. We'll round it up and say 600,000 people. Okay. So then let's look at the stats side by side to the Spanish flu. Okay? The Spanish flu, also known as the 1918 flu pandemic, was unusually deadly influenza pandemic caused by the H1N1 influenza A virus. It infected 500 million, about a third of the world's population at the time, in 4 successive waves. Okay, So let's think about the time, like the time that it took for 500 million people to get infected. So let's scroll down and find some dates. So from February 1918 to April 1920, okay? So roughly 2 years. It took 2 years for it to kill 50 million people worldwide. Okay, guys? 2 years. 50 million people. The Spanish flu killed 50 million people worldwide in 2 years. Okay? Let's see. I was watching news, uh, some type of like leftist news media, and they were trying to compare these two figures together. They were saying, oh, the Spanish flu killed 50 million people, while the Cerveza bug killed 500,000 people. They said 500,000. Those are the words that they use verbatim. 500,000. Now, let's look at the units that they're using. 50 million, 500,000. 500,000 sounds like a lot of people because they use the word million as the same unit. But what if we switch the units? What if we say 50 million people died from the Spanish flu, while 600,000 died from Cerveza bug? Now the units don't sound as large. You say 600,000 people. 600,000 does not sound as many as 500,000. Okay? Just the slight use of units, the slight the disinformation of the use of units that they're using shows how propagandized this Cerveza bug really is. You might as well call it the communism virus, because it's turning everyone into a commie. So, moving forward, we had all this political tension going on in the last couple of months. You have people not working, everybody's self-quarantining, stuck in their houses forever, okay? They're going to use the gatherings, the riots, the looting to increase the numbers of Cerveza bug infections, to strong arm companies into compliance, and basically to get the government to blame the people is what they're going to do. It's your fault, guys, that the numbers are going up. It's our fault that we weren't wearing our masks enough. We weren't complying enough. We weren't scared enough, guys. They're going to blame us. And that's how you know when you have a tyrannical government. And I'm going to bring you guys to the end of the show here. Let me just say, government is slavery. Okay, guys? Understand that all the propaganda they're putting up there is all meant to misconstrue and to keep you from making your own decisions and your own choices and to keep your own thoughts. So, without further ado, guys, I want to bid you guys farewell. Leave comments down in the comment section below. I will read them. I'll try to respond. And like and share if you can. I'm Anarchist. I come to you from the dark side of the moon. And I'm here to let you guys know that we have all been deceived. And we will all continue to be deceived until you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for the love and support. And I will see you guys on the next show.